Hello, welcome to Trick by Track, episode 2, which means we're on track 2.
Track 2 of album 1.
Album 1, a long time ago. You said you were listening to the album. You walked into work the other day.
Yeah, I did. I just listened
and I
to
was
it.
like, I'm listening to the car, and you were like, I'm listening to Beverly. And I was like, and you were like,
reliving all of my past mistakes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, how's Beverly sitting for you since you have the most recent full?
Oh, I'm pretty. I think there's a weird thing where when you're a musician, especially one who's like into the mixing and the minutia, especially when you first release them, there can be sort of like a kind of feeling of like just tweak every little thing again, and then. Actually, as I've gotten a little farther away from it, it's been a little bit more like, doesn't matter. It's like, who cares?
And it sounds good.
It sounds good. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to worry about it.
As long as the
so I'm actually a little more zen about it. I'm into Beverly. I'm a Beverly fan. What can I say?
Beverly's a fan. Beverly is like a first album. Even though we were older, it was like going back, and for me, I felt
a first album.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Because I just felt young. So that actually...
It's in the tradition of, is this it?
Great
the
first
best
album.
First albums of all time,
But no, the Endgame specifically, I think, like... Because like I said on the last one, I was kind of like... I hadn't written songs in a while. And I was trying to, like, get myself out of the funk. And I was trying to, like, write serious songs that had interesting chords... And I was just failing, essentially.
Yeah. And we kind of nailed it with Lucky Cycle. We'll get to Lucky Cycle.
Yeah, and then there was
and then we were like,
that.
what are we... And then, there was sort of an exploratory phase.
Yeah, because we were also finding ourselves as a band. Like, I didn't want to, like, do all that. Lucky Cycle was not a direction I wanted to walk down much further. Like,
we'd done...
Certain aspects of it.
We'd done that.
But yeah, so I tried to get myself out of it. I remember I was sitting in my backyard. It was a nice sunny day. And I thought to myself, like, you don't really write songs in C. What's wrong with writing songs in C? You love C. You love it when other people write songs in C. Just write a quick, snappy song in C. And I love calypso. I love calypso music. That's the other thing I was thinking about. I like it when people dance. I like dancing to kind of more calypso-esque songs. Like, you'll play it at weddings.
Well, of course I took it and ruined that aspect of it.
No, it has a lot of that. But I think I had just been to a wedding in New Orleans, and they had played a lot of, like, more vibey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do, and I remember, actually, because I think you must have had this nice sort of urge to begin this song. But then later, I remember you were kind of like, oh, I don't know. It's just like boop and then boop and then boop and then boop.
Yeah, I still.
And I was like, no, let's just see where it goes.
Yeah, because we had a few tracks. Yeah, and you were like, let's flesh that one. You were the one who kind of pushed for it because I was like, meh, like, it's so simple. But I think in the end, it's a really strong song because
in the end, you say
the
end game.
But in the end game, we were also learning how to collaborate and learning how to write songs together. This was before the pandemic. So we were really writing, as John and Paul would say, with our fingers in each other's noses. And writing back to back.
What a mistake that turned out to be.
So, you wrote the next section. We were writing back to back, and we were writing
I kind of did my thing where I would flesh out your section a little bit.
Yeah.
And, adding some lead guitar and stuff. And then I took over for the immediate B section.
Yeah.
Which it truly is a B section. It's not really a
weird
bridge.
Little song, yeah. It's intentionally kind of like, because I don't like songs.
Was it A, B, A, C? Is that what it is?
It's A, B, C. Or A, B, A, C, yeah. And it's not even really a chorus because the lyrics never really repeat.
Yeah, there's no chorus.
It's like a medley without being a medley because that A section comes back.
Yeah, it's like, what if songs didn't have choruses and they just had different little bits?
I
love songs like that.
I like songs like that. I think I wrote more like that earlier. I think it's easier to write good full songs now that I'm like better.
Yeah. We've written a lot of songs.
Arlene, what's his face, Gentry style.
I don't know. But yeah, I wrote the next section, and going back to sort of the theme of the album, this is the first song on the album that's like a character. This is, it's like different characters experiencing a day in New York. What an original idea. We did it. And this is the first one where it truly is a character, and she's not even in New York at the end.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of ruins the whole one day. We'll have to assume that at the end of the song, that's the one day in New York. We get a glimpse
into her future. We get a possible 2 weeks later kind of cut in the movie of her life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Or some people think that she's on vacation the day of, and that it's for the audience to argue over.
That's right.
whether or not she's on vacation the day of, or if we're getting a futuristic
and we
glimpse.
know the answer.
Yes, more to look forward to.
Never to be revealed.
Only for one person in the Trick Flower cereal box giveaway.
That's right. The Trick. Yeah, we do need to do the cereal. Right?
Yeah, that's the merch. No so T-shirts. Good. No.
Just cereal boxes. Like it's just like a cheap Lucky
Charms. And then we're just in the cereal
kind of thing.
Yeah. With little. There's
little flower
Pippin, little Flipper.
Yeah, little
flippers, little flowers. But what I like about that
Trick Flipper, yes.
Just keep changing the name. What I like about that B section is you were so funny because you kind of like it's just C major 7 to F major 7, and you just went, okay, I'll just immediately do all the minors.
Yeah, because I was like, what do you? I was like, what do you want me to do here?
Yeah,
and you're like, just do some minors. And I was like all of the minors, and we're like, yeah, I guess so. That might.
And it worked out great because then. And this is what worked out great, I think, for our initial songwriting is because, like Sam said, it's a character study. It's a character study on a woman going through a divorce. Because I was kind of basing it on because it was so simple. I like things that contrast, and I think that a lot of times you try to write seriously about serious subjects, and you try to give it a minor, suspended second, blah blah blah. And a lot of times when you're in a serious situation and you're getting broken up with or something, it just feels stupid. You just feel stupid, and it just smacks you in the face.
This is so basic. How can this happen to me?
I'm
such a complex individual.
Yeah, you're flabbergasted, and yet
this is such a cliche.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
Happening?
So I was thinking of those movies, those breakup movies from when I was a kid, or those The Parent Trap or something. And so then, much like in real life, you're gobsmacked, and then the depression hits. And so that's, so
longer and harder to deal with.
Yeah, so I wrote the woman complaining and being shocked and being reactionary. And then when the minor chords start, you wrote the section where she's sort fully of depressed.
She's fully, well, it's also she's angry.
She's angry, and we set it around the apartment. Like, it was like...
Yeah, I think...
Because in the story, the guy leaves the apartment. She's alone in the apartment.
Yeah, she's alone in the apartment. She's... How can she deal with this? But my favorite line is, just fucking die.
Yeah, just fucking die.
Make me smile.
Yeah, because it's just those petty thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked that one too.
Yeah. And it's like, that's when the orchestra comes in. It's like this huge moment.
To have that realization, to be angry, and to just let yourself feel that.
Let yourself get amped up and feel that anger.
Yeah.
And the anger is like in that processing of those feelings. The anger is a real turning point.
It usually is.
Yeah. For better or for worse.
Yeah. And then she comes out of it and she's determined. It's just like, because I don't know if we talked about this last time. You're a painter. I'm a playwright. That's what I went to school for. And so I think of things in like acts and scenes and moments. And so I was like, okay, so now she's had her catharsis. And she's out of the house, and I literally because I was listening to a lot of Bruce Springsteen at the time. And he's always talking
you always
about,
say, you're like, oh, that was another one of my little Bruce numbers.
It's like,
okay.
Yeah, he's like, what is he?
I wasn't aware of that.
But he, because she gets on a plane, which is like, in those days, you use car imagery.
On a jet plane.
Yeah, so I was like, the line, rev the engines twice as loud. It's just like a reference to her being like, I'm not just driving across America, I'm going to Costa Rica.
I'm blaring these things. I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
So she...
It's a good line.
I can't remember the rest of the
lyrics.
This
is a fun song.
It's a fun, very multifaceted song that I think will go over very well live. So when you want to see us live, let us know.
Don't be thrown off by the sea.
People will go 8.
We love it.
We'll have to...
But then, of course, the outro.
The outro, yeah, I'm trying to think if there are any more narrative beats. I mean, and
Don't stop recording, camera.
Or just don't let me stop seeing myself. And then the outro, because the only chord that we hadn't used was a G.
This is the only one. We had filled all of the other chords
in the main.
We had to diminish.
If we're not using borrowed
7,
chords,
13,
yeah.
15. I do 15 chords exist. Of course they do.
I think this might have even been a precursor to like chord coutrement.
Whoa.
Because already as we talk, we go like, oh, this is going to be like a chordy song, and this is going to be like a note, you know. Because I think we have conversations sometimes where we go like, oh, should we add like a little bit of this? And it's like, nah, this song's just.
Sometimes that's all it needs.
We've got a good one coming out that we just started writing where I have to find the recording of it, but you added this really interesting, very chordful bit, second bit to the bridge. But anyway, so
we'll get there.
we'll get there in Trick by Track.
Episode 57.
Yeah, what episode would that
crazy
be?
Like that. The episode will be in the high 40s. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. I was just playing.
But we were talking about the intro, right?
The outro.
Or the outro.
Which is just a classic rock and roll, and then she's happy, you know, she's taking action, or action has been taken from her, then she's depressed, then she gets her, you know.
This should be a movie.
It should. I can't wait till the Trick Flower cinematic universe.
Yeah, the Trick Flower cinematic universe.
She finds her agency, that's the word. And then in this one, she's full party mode. She gets on the plane. It's always better wasting time. Beach to the mountain, finding the line.
It's not real money in Italy.
It's not,
you put it all on those credit cards, baby.
We were having so much fun going back and forth with those lines. Because we were just like, I'll write one, you write one, I write one. And then we were like, let's just go back and forth. Because then, obviously, it's just very easy to have me sing one bit, you sing the other bit, me sing one bit, and then us combine. But it's those simple, this is the joy of a collaboration.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
John and Paul should have done more.
We gotta mix these vocals up a little more.
Because the competition is nice, but writing together is equally nice. Mm-hmm. I think, not to always compare us to the Beatles, but John really lost that bit.
Who else is there?
Yeah, who else is there? There's like, Beulah, is that a songwriting duo? I'm trying to think. There's one of those indie bands from the, 2000s that I don't listen to that was a songwriting duo. But
well, they're a great touch point as we listen to them. I don't know what you're talking about. There have been many songwriting partnerships through the years.
Yeah.
We're like ABBA.
Yeah. Yeah. I love ABBA. I'm really into ABBA.
Knowing me, knowing you. Oh no, copyright.
Yeah, don't add a melody to it.
You can't even say the words, yeah.
But, you know, we're like, but people who really put time into the partnership didn't just show up. Because, you know, back then it was more no, but there's Godley and Cream. There's Hall & Oates. We should compare ourselves to Hall & Oates more, is what we should do.
Yeah.
Listen to their albums, actually.
Daryl Hall. Live from the house. Patrick
Stump.
So fun.
But
you're like, Patrick Stump, what are you doing here? I'm just here to be like a nice guy. Like,
I've got my hat on.
Rock band's like, can I play drums, guys?
Yeah.
Can I play the drums?
Yeah.
Of course you can play the drums.
Want me to do a
What a novel idea. I'm Daryl Hall, and I'm having a great time at my house.
He's like, I actually don't like being a frontman. I was forced here.
Yeah.
But no,
it's so fun watching Daryl Hall sing like "Sugar We're Going Down." You're like, what is happening? It really is part of the canon.
He's a fun guy, that Daryl Hall. He's until he does something to hurt someone. I hope he wasn't like an anti-vaxxer or something.
You never know with those old white guys.
Hopefully, if he was, he just didn't say anything.
What's the guy from why am I blanking on this extreme Pink Floyd? It's like, didn't that guy...
Gilmore?
Yeah, he's like, we never stop touring, fuck the vaccine. You know, just like, what are you talking about, dude? He's like, oh, Russia's actually good.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, what are you talking about, Mr. The Wall? Like,
oh, it was Roger? Yeah, I did
maybe it was that. Roger. I don't even know. I'm not a big Pink Floyd guy yet.
He's a politics guy. He's definitely an opinionated guy. But back to Endgame, I think... it's a very fun and diverse, fun song on a diverse, fun album.
Political talking points.
a punditry. Because, there are some more serious songs on the album, but we want to bounce it out.
The first song is my soulful, sad
it's very
moment.
beautiful.
And then we get into the fun immediately, which I like it.
I love Thick of It. That's like...
Oh, thank you.
When Maisha listened to our album, she was like, Thick of It's real good.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I never told you. But
now you did, and it makes me feel just a little bit warmer inside.
But that's Endgame. If you're into songwriting that's a bit wackier, and maybe you're a songwriter and you like the sections to be a bit all over the place.
Yeah, little atypical sections, which get some weird complexity without being all that complex.
It's fun to write. Frankly, if anyone, to the millions of people who will eventually watch these, I would love some feedback.
Why is the so bad?
I would love to know if Endgame's a cool song, because I have friends that are like, wow, your songs are so all over the place. And then I have some friends that are like, that was that was a good one that stuck with me. Like, I listened to it a few times. First time I thought it was a bit weird. Now I'm like, oh, I really always come back to that one. So, feedback's nice, especially on a weird one like this. Other ones, not so much. This one, I would love some feedback.
Yeah, we don't need to know that all of our other hit songs are great.
Yeah, we know which ones are hits. we know it
already. Stop telling me. Get out of my dressing room.
But what we like to hear is when we did interesting to poor.
Yeah.
It's only bad comments on these videos. Only criticism.
That's right. Constructive. The constructive guys down in the comments.
Not the try guys, the constructive guys. Or no, they're the constructive guys. Right? Yeah.
You have to remember. She was a food baby. And with that, I bid you adieu.